My son shut me out of his wedding plans, but still sent me a jaw-dropping $80,000 bill for his opulent reception and honeymoon in Hawaii. He added, "Be grateful I'm letting you contribute." I grinned as my anger morphed into determination. His grand celebration was about to get a reality check. In the stillness of my Lexington kitchen, with October sunlight filtering through torn curtains, I opened a thick envelope featuring Kevin's tidy handwriting. I assumed it was the wedding invitation I'd been missing after months of silence. As I gently opened it, hopeful maybe, just maybe, it included a note asking me to walk him down the aisle like we once joked about. But no. What emerged was a meticulously itemized bill, totaling $80,000. I scanned the expenses. $50,000 for an estate rental with gardens and chandeliers near Lexington, $20,000 for upscale catering with imported wines and seafood, and $10,000 for a suite in Maui with a private beach. Kevin had handwritten at the bottom, "Dad, after the mess you made, be thankful I'm asking for your help. Here's your part. Send the check soon. Victoria and I need it." I sat, stunned by the accusations. He blamed me for holding back his career and our modest lifestyle after his mom passed away. I glanced at a photo of young Kevin, all smiles at a little league game, his tiny hand in mine. How could that happy kid turn into someone who sees me as an ATM and excludes me from his wedding because I don't fit in? The shock was like a cold splash. Then anger had me crumpling the note, the sound of it loud as dry leaves. But I forced myself to smooth it, calm and focused. With effort, I stood, feeling the space around me shrink with memories of family dinners. Cold water splashed on my face, no relief. Kevin thought he could erase my presence and still expect my savings, built through long hours of work since we lost Elena to cancer in 2015. I remembered his unfeeling words post-funeral. "You could have done more, Dad." At the table, I held my family's old pocket watch, its steady tick a promise. Kevin had severed our bond, likely nudged by Victoria's whispers about retirees embarrassing their trendy guests. But I felt a grin creep up, fueled by bitterness and resolve. Folding the bill, a plan formed in my mind. Kevin genuinely thought he could get one over me. Wrong. A direct confrontation would fail as he'd ignore me. But I could dig around, find cracks in their perfect image. I wiped the dust off my old laptop. Time to uncover their real story. Holding our photo, I remembered young Kevin, looking so hopeful, sitting on my lap in Jacobson Park as rain stormed around us. "Don't worry, Dad," he had said with belief. "You're the strongest." Back then, I kept him safe in my arms. It used to be about scraping together money, but now it's about respect. They treated me like I was nothing, yet wanted my backing for their fantasy wedding. I gave them everything. They cast me aside like I didn't matter. Not this time. I'd show them the true meaning of sacrifice. The rain came down harder, echoing the storm inside me, and I readied myself for the task ahead. No way was I backing out now. As I sat there, I mapped out my plan, letting every detail fuel my determination. As I dove in, piece by piece, I gathered information. I called the vendors, pretending to be the one signing the checks. It's amazing what people will spill when they think you're the payer. The emails kept coming, revealing the extravagance of their event. It was more than a wedding. It was a display of their status, built on the back of my sacrifices. The night dragged on, with half a bottle of wine beside me. I was ready to play the part they expected, but on my own terms. I was going to show Kevin what greed truly cost, prove to him that family was about more than just money and fancy things. I'd silently conduct my own little rebellion. Victoria and Kevin might have planned a perfect day, but they overlooked who laid the groundwork. They thought they couldn't be touched, but they'd find out that wasn't true. When I finally shut the laptop, the hum fading into silence, I took a long breath, my anger cooling into a calculated tranquility. I wasn't facing this alone. Elena was right there with me, her spirit giving strength to our family back then and now. Her memory pushed me forward, promising justice, step by step. Hesitation flickered up inside me briefly. Was I being too extreme, risking the remnants of family connections? But then I recalled that condescending note, and any doubt vanished. This was about self-respect, demonstrating to Kevin that greed has repercussions. I steadied my hands and looked up Mark Brennan's contact, the mastermind behind this fiasco. I took a deep breath, ready to call and start disassembling their perfect little plan piece by piece. I picked up my phone, ready to dial. The call barely rang before a polished voice answered. Mark Brennan Events. This is Mark. How can I make your day extraordinary? Leaning against the counter with the receiver cool against my ear, I focused on steadying my breath. Hi, Mark. It's Stephen Taus, Kevin Torres's father and the one writing the checks for his wedding. There was a pause, then he warmed up. Mr. Taus, Kevin mentioned you'd call to finalize payments. We're thrilled you're part of this special day. The Ashford estate is booked up, and Victoria's vision is coming together beautifully. I let him ramble about flower arches and string quartets while I honed in. Actually, Mark, I'd prefer a face-to-face chat. Could we meet tomorrow? I've got some things to go over. He didn't hesitate, setting up a meeting at his Lexington office at 10 a.m. I hung up, the sound cutting through the quiet as I poured another glass of wine, envisioning his surprise when reality hit. No more hiding behind notes and invoices. Sitting back, the adrenaline kicked in as I prepared. Meeting Mark was just the starting point. I'd be ready. That evening, I combed through the bill again, jotting down key figures to have at hand. Before bed, I laid out a nice sweater and slacks. Nothing too flashy, but professional enough. As I settled in, the plan felt solid, like laying down the foundation of a house. I was up early the next day, grabbing my coffee thermos and keys, ready to hit the road. Driving through light traffic, autumn leaves swirled like confetti on my windshield. A sudden pause hit me at a red light. Was this crossing a line? I shrugged it off, gunning the engine as the light changed. Mark's office was in a sleek building on Main Street, modern glass and chrome, a stark shift from my firm's old brick setup. Once parked, I stepped into the lobby, where the air was sterile with a hint of pricey cologne. Mark greeted me with a firm handshake, his suit impeccable. Mr. Taus, please come in. Coffee? He motioned me towards a plush chair across from his desk, cluttered with fabric swatches and contracts. A framed photo of a joyful couple under a gazebo caught my eye, and I steeled my resolve. That happiness wouldn't belong to Kevin, not on my dime. Once settled, he opened the file. So, the $80,000 takes care of everything. Venue, catering, and even the honeymoon deposit. Kevin assured me it's all taken care of. I leaned forward, trying to keep my tone calm. Did he? Tell me, Mark. Did Kevin happen to let you know that I'm not even invited to the wedding I'm supposed to be funding? Not even a guest? His eyes went wide, and his pen slipped out of his grip. Band? No. He mentioned family contributions were sorted out. This is awkward. I shot back. Awkward. It's downright insulting. He sent the bill with a note saying I should be grateful, after everything I did raising him on my own. Mark shifted around, rubbing his temple, looking unsure. I don't know what to say. Contracts are already signed, but if it's not fully paid, things can't move forward. Deposits aren't refundable. But the rest… Exactly, I cut in. Let Kevin know the wedding is on pause until he speaks to me directly. No payment from my end, and if he keeps pushing, remind him how shaky his plans truly are. He slowly nodded, clearly taken aback. I'll call him today. This changes things. As I stood up to leave, I heard him mumble under his breath, "That arrogant kid." That gave me a bit of satisfaction, the first hint of chaos beginning. Walking out into the fresh air, the door shut behind me, and I felt ripples like a stone hitting water. On the sidewalk I felt strong, but I knew I couldn't do this alone. Mark was just the starting point. Kevin wouldn't back down, but neither would I. The important thing was, now I had an ace up my sleeve to stop everything. I needed someone trustworthy to back me up, and Alex popped into my mind right away. His number was still in my phone, untouched despite our radio silence over the years. He used to know Kevin inside out, and his recent detective job might prove useful. Settling into my car, I took a deep breath, hatching a plan while scrolling through my contacts. No missed calls yet, but I figured the silence wouldn't last. As I drove onto the highway, I focused on gathering allies. I paused when I spotted Alex's name, untouched for a long time. Kevin's best buddy from childhood, the one who got left in the dust when ambition took over. A memory hit me. 12-year-old Alex showed up at our door after his parents split. Elena made him some hot chocolate while Kevin and I played cards to distract him. No room for doubt, I dialed his number. "Alex, it's Steven Torres. Long time no see." His surprise quickly turned into warmth. "Mr. T? Wow. How have you been? Everything all right?" "Not quite," I admitted. "Kevin's getting married, but it's complicated. Can we meet? I could use your help. Heard you're a detective now, with some photography skills." He chuckled dryly. "Yeah, word gets around. Let's meet up at the old cafe on Broadway in an hour." We agreed, and I hung up just as I parked in my driveway. My house felt energized now, with a sense of purpose. An hour later, I found myself in a corner booth at the cafe, the scent of freshly baked scones blending with the smell of fall leaves outside. Alex came in, looking taller than I remembered, with detective-like eyes and a camera bag slung over his shoulder. We exchanged a firm handshake. "Mr. T, looking good. I'm sorry about Elena. She was like a second mom to me, too." "Thanks, Alex. And just call me Steven." I pushed a cup of coffee his way. Kevin banned me from his wedding, had the nerve to send me a bill for 80 grand. I won't pay that. I'm fighting back. His expression tightened. Sounds like Kevin. He dropped me when I wouldn't lie for him. He said my small gigs held him back. I nodded. Heard similar stories, always using folks to get ahead. "Yep," Alex sighed, leaning in closer. "Back in college, he stole my project ideas, and when I confronted him, he ghosted me. Victoria's the same, all about appearances." After several cups of coffee, a plan formed. Alex would document the wedding from the sidelines, capturing any drama on camera for leverage, if needed. As we talked, an old acquaintance waved from the counter, Ms. Jenkins from the old neighborhood, bringing back memories. "Remember when you and Kevin pranked her with fake snow in July?" Alex smiled. Then it faded. "Those days are long gone. He's changed." "So have I replied. "But this alliance, that's genuine." We ended with a handshake, thoughts swirling in my head like the steam off our coffees. "We might need more recordings, logs," I mused aloud. Alex gave a thoughtful nod. "Swing by my place tonight," I suggested. "Bring your stuff. Let's start prepping for real." Alex beamed, excitement lighting up his eyes. "Deal, Steven. I'll be there at 8. That chat stuck with me as I made my way home, the rain tapping gently on the roof by the time evening crept in. Feeling restless, I shot Alex a text, urging him to come over. Soon, he showed up with a toolkit, the rain setting the porch light aglow. "Ready to kick things up a notch?" he asked, shaking off his coat at the door. We settled in the living room. I cleared a spot on the coffee table. The dim lights threw long shadows on the worn rugs, and I handed him a hot mug of coffee. "Teach me how to protect myself. Recordings, cameras, the whole deal." Alex laid out a small collection of gadgets, a mini recorder, hidden cameras, even call log apps. "First, the legal basics," he said, his voice calm and informative. "In Kentucky, only one party needs to consent to recordings. Hit this button during a call." I practiced with a mock setup as he shared potential tricks Kevin might pull: gaslighting, deflecting. Remember when he blamed you for his mom's treatment not working? Alex said quietly. I thought of selling my car to cover bills, supporting Elena in the hospital, while Kevin accused me of not trying hard enough. I briefly shared the memory, my voice catching. She deserved better from all of us. You gave everything, Alex said softly, but with determination. After my parents split, you took me in and helped me with math, he continued. I owe you one. Kevin had laughed at me, calling me weak. Quietly, we raised our mugs, choosing fairness over revenge. He explained where to place the camera. Angle it here, it'll catch faces clearly at the door. I tested one. The image was crystal clear on my phone, a surge of power rippling through me as the picture settled. As the device whirred, another thought crept in. What if Kevin reached out tonight? Could he sense something was happening? Kevin didn't reach out that night, but I knew the silence wouldn't last. The next day was filled with intense anticipation. I kept checking my phone, testing the cameras, taking walks around the block to try and ease my nerves. Every passing car made me jump, wondering if it was him. By the time evening came, I was on edge. My phone buzzed with his name flashing on the screen. The device hummed softly in my hand, the green light steady as it vibrated across the table, slicing through the evening's calm. I was halfway through making tea, the kettle just beginning to whistle, steam swirling lazily upward. Kevin's name lit up the screen, and I let it ring, watching as the phone jittered across the table. The cool air from the window mirrored the tension knotting my stomach. It went to voicemail and buzzed again. This time it was Victoria. I ignored that too, pouring hot water over the tea bag, letting the chamomile aroma bring me back to Alex's advice. Record everything. Their words are your ammo. Days drifted by since our meeting, filled with quiet preparations, setting up apps, checking camera angles around the house, and taking neighborhood strolls to clear my head. Now, the storm was here. Notifications were piling up, with 3 voicemails and urgent texts flashing. I sat at the kitchen table, the dim light overhead casting shadows on the walls as I hit play on the first message, pausing for a moment before hitting play. Dad, it's Kevin, started the message. There's a mistake with the payments. Our planner called and said you backed out. Get back to me ASAP. We need to fix this. His voice started calm, but grew anxious. I listened again, catching the panic under mistake, like his financial mess was an accident. The second message played, Stephen, it's Victoria. Kevin's very upset. The vendors might back out if you don't help. Don't let this be about pettiness. Her tone was clipped and superior, like she was talking to a child. Petty. The word stung, but I managed a small smile, sipping my tea. Alex had warned me this would happen, desperation posing as accusation. Kevin's voice came through the third voicemail, urgency climbing. Dad, seriously, answer. Everything's unraveling. You owe us after all that's happened. A pause hinted at old grudges, his breath heavy. I played it twice more, picking apart the increasing stress. They were dropping hints, and rumors were buzzing around. Mark did his bit. Then I got a call from Mrs. Hargrove, our old friend from down the street. Her voice was hesitant when I answered. Stephen, there's talk about Kevin at the club, something about money issues affecting his wedding. Hope you're holding up. Her words threw me for a loop. I hadn't realized the gossip spread so fast, but it weirdly gave me energy. At last, I felt like I had the upper hand after being sidelined for so long. Just as I set the phone down, another voicemail popped up. It was Kevin again, his voice shaky. If you don't sort this out, you'll regret it. That threat kept spiraling in my thoughts as I stared at the screen. It echoed every time the phone rang that evening, persistent like a heartbeat in the living room as I paced around with my recorder app ready. I clutched the phone, letting it buzz 4 times before answering, a calculated move to rattle him. Hello, Kevin. Dad, finally, he blurted. What is happening? Mark's telling me you're refusing to pay and wrecking our wedding. His frustration was obvious. I kept my breathing steady, the carpet soft beneath my feet. Wrecking things? You excluded me, made me feel more like a sponsor than family. Remember the note you left? Be grateful. There was a pause before he exploded. Look, it's not like that. Victoria's friends, her crowd, your retired dad, it wouldn't fit. But the money, you owe it. After Mom, after everything you put us through. His jab about Elena stung, but I stayed calm, recording everything, every single word. Remember how I raised you alone? I sold everything for her care, and then you had the guts to blame me, and now you just ignore me. No, Kevin, I won't take your money. You're the one messing it all up, he yelled, full of raw feeling. Victoria was beyond furious. The caterers needed their deposits, and the estate holding the date was threatening extra charges. You need to fix it. I paused, drawing strength from the pocket watch on the side table, its ticking a reminder of something dignified. You broke it. You fix it. Talk to me like a son, not like a bank manager. Then, Victoria chimed in over the speakerphone, and I caught on. Stephen, this is insane. We're trying to build a life together, and your stubbornness could ruin it all. Can you even imagine the embarrassment? Her interruption cranked up the tension. Her tone was dripping with disdain. Embarrassment? Like the time you wanted to ban your future father-in-law from the wedding? And the bill you sent me for a honeymoon I'm supposed to fund while being left out? Kevin shot back defensively. It's about family duty, Dad. Everyone contributes. Just admit it. You're jealous of my success. His comment gave him away. His excuse was just a distraction, revealing his ego. I responded decisively. Success built on taking advantage of others? No more. The line crackled, and I heard his heavy breathing. You'll regret this. We're done. The call ended suddenly. The silence echoed like a loud bell, his words hanging around me like a key turning in a lock, focusing my resolve. His vulnerability lingered with me as I paced the hallway of our quiet house. The only sound was the fridge humming. Shortly after, my phone beeped with a text alert. It was Alex. Update: vendors demanding payment, rumors swirling around the estate, photos incoming. I opened the file. Blurry pictures of workers stuck with no clear direction. A florist's van idling without a plan. Those images ignited something in me. But soon Kevin's texts flooded my phone. Selfish old man, ruining our big day out of spite. His sharp messages lit up the screen, but I stayed calm as I read. It was then another call came in, this time from the neighbor, Mr. Ellis, next door. Stephen, I saw Kevin arguing with a delivery guy yesterday. Rude as ever, trying to squeeze discounts like he owned the place. His voice sounded rough but supportive. Heard about the wedding chaos, need any help? Remember how he acted at that block party? He thought he was above everyone else. I stood against the wall, phone glued to my ear. Thanks, Ellis. So, what exactly went down with the delivery? He let out a dry laugh. The guy was dropping off invitations or something, and Kevin berated him for a crease, asking, "Do you know who I am?" Victoria just watched it all. People are talking. Vendors are starting to back out. This story just cemented the image of Kevin's arrogance, reminding me of how he treated me. Appreciate the heads up. Keeps me fueled. No worries, Ellis replied warmly. You've got your people here. He doesn't. After we hung up, I shot a text back to Alex. Latest from the neighbor, Kevin's alienating everyone. Alex replied simply, Perfect. It's getting out of hand. Everything's coming undone. Just as I put my phone down, a text from an unfamiliar number popped up. Might be a vendor hinting at bigger issues. Mr. Taus wedding cancellation fees. The message cut off, leaving me with a more urgent feeling, like the mantle clock was ticking down to something unavoidable. By dawn, on November 15th, 2024, the wedding day, rain started drumming the window in nervous spurts. I was up early, the ticking from last night's clock still in my head, feeling the mounting pressure of the week. Those days had slipped by with a tense vigilance, following Alex's updates, ignoring Kevin's more hostile texts, even going on long walks in Lexington's crisp weather to brace myself for any doubts creeping in. With my phone's weather app open, seeing rain in the forecast felt like a storm I had set in motion, washing away all pretenses. I made some coffee, the rich scent filling the kitchen, and settled at the table with my phone. By 7 a.m., Alex's first text from the estate came in. "Are vendors arriving? Photos soon." I sipped slowly, the mug warming my hands as images rolled in. Florists unloading vans just to pack up half the arrangements again, looking tense in the rain under their umbrellas. "Deposit issues," one caption said. "They're leaving." The chaos unfolded in messy, live snippets. A caterer's truck idling, workers boxing up untouched china and silverware as the driveway turned into a slick mess. Guests. People began arriving around noon. Alex secretly snapped photos of the chaos under the tents, umbrellas popping up like dark flowers. Somewhere, voices murmured, "Where's the setup?" My phone buzzed with a text alert, but I ignored the flood of calls from Kevin. The phone vibrated on the table like a trapped bee. Voicemails piled up quickly. I listened to one, his voice frazzled. "Dad, send the money now. Everything's falling apart. They're threatening to shut it down." His usual arrogance cracked with desperation. More photos arrived. The grand hall was a mess, chairs scattered like an afterthought. No string quartet. A photo came through that twisted my gut. Victoria, in her gown, looking heartbroken, rain streaming down the mansion windows like tears. For a second, I second-guessed myself. Was I too harsh, letting their big day unravel publicly? But remembering their past arrogance, my doubt faded into quiet satisfaction. Sometimes, justice isn't gentle. By afternoon, Alex reported, "Guests are lingering, some leaving, rumors of a family money fight are buzzing." In my room, I paced, hearing the rain hammer down outside, imagining their embarrassment from miles away. Another voicemail from Kevin. "Please, Dad, wire it. Guests are laughing. Help." In one of Alex's audio clips, a guest whispered, "This is a disaster." So poorly planned. The rain pelted harder, as if even nature joined in the chaos. Then my phone rang again. Kevin's name flashed, his frantic voice cut off mid-ring. I let it go to voicemail once more. The phone was drowned out by a pounding knock on the door, persistent and heavy through the rain. The rain trickled down from the roof, pooling in steady streams on the porch steps. Slowly, I approached and peered through the peephole to find Kevin and Victoria, looking exhausted in their pajamas, hastily covered by coats. Their hair was wet, and their faces were pale. Carefully, I cracked the door open, letting in a whiff of the cool mist. "What are you doing here?" I asked. Kevin barged in, water dripping from his sleeves and forming a small puddle on the mat. "Dad, let us in. The wedding's a disaster. Vendors bailed and guests scattered in the rain. It's become a joke now." Victoria stood just behind him, her makeup smudged and her gown awkwardly peeking out from underneath her coat. "Stephen, please send the money. We can salvage something." With a sigh, I stepped aside, closing the door against the wind. They stood dripping in the hallway, the familiar smell of home clashing with their desperate looks. Save what? I thought, recalling how they always asked for money but never truly included me in their lives. Kevin ran his fingers through his wet hair, his voice breaking. "It was a mistake. Victoria's idea, for appearances, but now everything's falling apart. Help us, Dad, like old times." Arms crossed, I held firm despite the emotional tug. A memory surfaced. Kevin, years back after Elena's funeral, accusing me of being weak while I buried my grief in work. That fueled my resolve. "Like old times? Like when you blamed me for Mom's death and ignored me unless you needed cash?" Victoria interrupted, her voice finally trembling with genuine vulnerability. "We didn't mean it," It's just stress. The honeymoon's booked, and deposits are lost. Think of us." "Think of you?" I echoed, calmly but sharply. "Would you still care if I wasn't footing the bills?" Kevin hesitated, glancing nervously. "Of course, your family, but in our world, success means keeping up appearances. Just transfer it." His words laid bare the shallowness of their bond. "No, Kevin, this is what happens with greed," I replied, as he continued pleading, his voice rising. "You're ruining us. The guests are gossiping. Vendors are mocking. Fix this for your son." Victoria gripped his arm, whispering urgently. But I shook my head. "Go. Learn from this." I turned to open the door as Kevin's last words poured out, raw. "Wait, Dad. I regret it. All of it." The rain roared outside as I shut the door on them. Their footsteps faded into the storm, my resolve lingering like the echo of his regret. The echo faded into silence as I moved to the armchair by the window, watching the rain streak the glass in fading patterns. Their car lights cut through the dusk before vanishing, leaving the house wrapped in peaceful quiet. The next few days blurred as I reflected and dealt with the flood of calls. A few nosy neighbors pried, so I sifted through the emotional mess and even tossed the original invoice into the fireplace one serene night, watching the ashes float away as a letting go ritual. By the week's end, Alex messaged to confirm it. Total downfall. The state issued partial refunds, yet the representatives flopped. The buzz drummed up new clients for me, springing from the fiasco. I called Buzz and warmth spread across the line. "Stephen, you did it. The photos show abandoned tents and guests leaving. Kevin's circles are whispering that his arrogance got him tangled," I mused, glancing at a photo album on the table. Old faded pictures stirred emotions but didn't overwhelm me. I appreciated the support. It felt liberating. He chuckled. "Anytime. Heard from him?" "No, but maybe he'll understand one day," I responded. We drifted into stories about old pranks and future plans, maybe a trip now that I felt unburdened. Later, out of the blue, Mrs. Hargrove emailed, touched by the stories. "Stephen, your stance made me remember what's important. Shall we grab coffee soon?" It warmed my heart. New friendships were emerging from the chaos. I toasted myself with a cup of coffee, whispering, "To dignity rediscovered." The house wasn't fuller with things, but with a sense of self-worth. Kevin's lesson might sting, but that's part of growing up. Hints of his regret suggested that perhaps seeds of change had been planted. When the rain finally stopped, I stepped outside, taking a deep breath of crisp air as sunlight broke through the clouds, lighting up a new path forward.